We all saw the footage of it. Scary if you're a passenger. If you're an investor, should you be scared as well?
Look, I don't think so at this point. I mean, the fact pattern here is really pointing to a manufacturing issue or some tinkering of the plane at an MRO facility here, potentially. Investors should be thinking to themselves, manufacturing or design? What's the issue going on here? If it's manufacturing, it's probably a near-term concern. We'll get through it. The aircraft will be grounded for some period of time while we go through these safety checks, and the airlines start flying the plane again, making sure that they don't have this issue. If it's a design issue, then Boeing's got to go back to the drawing board and design a fix. I don't think that that's what's going on here. This plane has been flying safely since the late 1990s, and its current version of it since 2015. Haven't seen any issues like this. This was a brand new plane that came off the production line here in October. So the fact pattern here suggests to me that this is either a manufacturing issue or there was some kind of MRO post work that was done on the aircraft that ended up leading to this issue.
Okay, Jason, so maybe not a huge deal in the grand scheme of things, but talk to us about the reputational risk here, especially for Boeing, which obviously has had some well-publicized issues in the past couple of years. How do you factor that in?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's not great, right? You want them to be have quality under control here. So if this ends up being a manufacturing issue, either at one of their suppliers or at one of their facilities where they were doing the final assembly that caused this door not to be installed correctly, that's not great. I think the bigger worry from a reputation perspective would be if it was a design issue. And again, I think that that's a pretty low likelihood. Now, all that being said, airlines do have choices, Airbus or Boeing. But both of these guys have got, backlogs that are filled up for years to come. So I think on the margin, it doesn't have a really big impact on, production rates ramping, orders here in the midterm. And from a financial perspective, if this really is a manufacturing issue and these aircraft are back up and flying here sometime in the next several weeks, it's going to have a pretty de minimis impact on financials for Boeing.
And this gets us to this idea, though, too. I mean, there's been a lot of focus right now on Spirit Aero, which, of course, makes the fuselages, and whether some of the other issues that they had prior to this incident really start to compound themselves here. I know this isn't directly under your coverage here, but should investors be paying more attention to them?
Well, investors should absolutely be paying attention to Boeing's supply chain, and Spirit on the 737 is the most important supplier. So investors should absolutely be paying attention to how Spirit is doing. And look, on that front, they did have some issues in the spring with the tail of the 737 fuselage and the aft section, the aft bulkhead section in the summertime. They've swapped out management team there, both at the top, and they're making their way through the ranks. I think the motto there these days seems to be bite, chew, and swallow, kind of back to basics. And hopefully we'll see steady improvement out of Spirit here. I will note that this fuselage looks like it was probably built over the summertime at the peak of all the problems that Spirit was wrestling with. Mm-hmm. Don't know if there's any correlation here. Like I said, this could be something that happened kind of after factory work that was done on this aircraft. It's still too early to tell, but absolutely investors should be paying attention to what's up at Spirit.